Okay, hello everybody, welcome to TìandTarot, or welcome back to TìandTarot if you've been here before. So today's reading is all about the burning passion that's going to be coming into your life, this new spark. In what area of your life, we will see, depending on the tarot cards. We'll see what this is, how you can grow it, what it will bring in for you. So we have 3 piles for you to choose from today. We have pile 1, 2 and 3, and you can pick your pile based on the energy of the pile, the number of the pile, or based on the numbers in the timestamps in the description box below, where you'll also find the zodiacs attached to each pile. You don't have to choose based on your zodiac sign, but you might like to, so it's in there for those of you who would. And for today's object, we have lighters. So for pile 1, we have the Power to the Women lighter. For pile 2, we have the Ghost lighter. And for pile 3, we have the Divine Whale lighter. Once you have picked your pile, there will be a timestamp in the description box below for you to find your reading more easily, and I will meet you there. Bye. Okay, hello my pile ones, welcome to your reading. So you chose the Power to the Women lighter, which I'm going to I'll put here. And these are your cards. So these are basically what this new passion is, and then we're gonna pull some other cards just to see, you know, how you can grow it, what you can do, what it's gonna bring into your life, that sort of thing. So you have the Champion, Achievement and Downfall, and you also have the Devil card. This is so interesting because I feel like I shouldn't be interpreting these without pulling more tarot cards, but just on the, from the get-go, I'm getting the vibe that there is a new type of champion. Like, that's what this new passion is for you, is becoming this new type of hero, this new type of victorious person. You're redefining what it is to be a champion. And you're getting on top of achievement. You're achieving everything that you want. Because with the Devil card, there's a element with the chains here being tied to this situation or this lie or something that you have no reason to be tied to. There's an idea of like a power balance there. Because all you really need to do is shift your mindset to flip this power balance where you're no longer sort of chained to this thing. No longer tied to it. And here you can see with the Champion card, they have this little like golden rope around their wrists. So it's almost like 2 things. One, it just takes a mindset shift, and I think that also goes with the sort of message of your lighter, to be on top. And additionally, and to have that attitude and the mindset of a champion to then be able to achieve what you need to. And then a second thing is that this is something you're destined or fated for, because it's like tied to you. Because I think of like the threads of fate, especially when I'm looking at what's woven around their wrists. It's like inevitable. This sort of champion title is inevitable. And I also, the reason I'm seeing it as a new type of champion, which is like different to what a champion could have looked like, is because with the Devil card there is a sense of renewal, especially looking at the ram horns. That's what those ram horns make me think of. And then we've got the fire and the flames in the background and the mystery over here with the clouds, and fire is changeable and also it grows rapidly and it brings newness with it, because let's say, you know, some people will set their like fields or whatever they have their trees on fire, so that in the next summer it actually replenishes like in a more luscious way. It's a special technique, but it does actually cause like better regrowth sometimes. There's an act to it, so don't take my advice for it, but you know, that is what I've heard. So there's definitely a sense of newness and getting what you deserve as well. Because if you think of the devil in a more like religious way, you would only ever have to interact with that like entity if you were deserving of being in like hell or something. So there's also a sense of comeuppance and getting what you deserve, not necessarily in like a bad way either, but maybe a dishing out of justice or comeuppance, or maybe even like a fated path in some kind of way, as well as just getting what was meant for you, what you're kind of tied to before you even come into this life, what this life was kind of destined for before you even had it. I think you're going to be really like in tune with this new phase of your life, because we've got the all-seeing eye here in this sword, which is disintegrating, it's losing its power because of this mind shift. And then the second thing is that here we have this like skeleton head and the hand sort of holding on to it, almost like it's giving this mind divine messages. So it kind of makes me feel like there's something to do with the mind shift and awareness as well. Some sort of intelligence or wisdom coming to you is going to ignite this fire or this flame or this drive to be this new type of champion for people or for yourself. Okay. So, what is the specific area of your life that this champion energy is being channeled from? So it could be like, if we get any of the suits, it will be specific to what that suit is about. Oh, we have the Wheel of Fortune. All areas of life then. Because the Wheel of Fortune encompasses everything. It is your whole life. It's your life changing and the inevitability of that. It's also about nature. So this could be, as I was sort of saying, like a natural evolution of your path. And it covers all areas of your life, because this card covers all areas of life, but specifically, again, in the righting of wrongs and the balancing of things, creating equity rather than equality, or maybe equality. But what I see is a shift in the power dynamic, because again, I was sort of talking about a shift in power dynamic of being the done to versus the doer, based on a simple mind shift. And with the Wheel of Fortune, with simple shifts and changes, it can completely transform somebody's fate from really good luck to really bad luck, to really bad luck to really good luck, or a mix of both. So it's going to be in all areas of your life, specifically to do with this spark, where this spark is coming from, specifically to do with injustices and hierarchy. So these are the areas that are coming in. There's also a weird dynamic here of like mortal versus immortal, or mortal versus divine, because we've got like the ordinary people here destined to sort of live out whatever fate has been decided for them by this higher power, and then over here we're seeing a shift of that dynamic, and then over here again we've got the divine, and then we've also got the more grounded elements of life as well. So like these two animals, grounded, and then we've got an angel and an eagle, which is not grounded, you know. You would look to the sky for these things. So there's an element of that as well. So these are all the areas that it's in your life. Is the good versus evil, justice and comeuppance, right versus wrong, hierarchies, mortal and immortal, or mortal and divine, good luck and bad luck, and a shifting of your fate. And what's interesting as well with the Wheel of Fortune is this sense of, yes, everything can change around you, but in the center there's stability, so long as you keep your eye on the goal and stay focused. And that's exactly what a champion would do. They would stay focused with that open eye on what it is they actually want to achieve, and not divert from that, and not get distracted and pulled in different directions. Okay, you have like a very interesting pile, so I did not expect this. How can you grow this thing? How can you move it and take action here and grow this spark into this massive sort of engulfing flame? Oh, okay, we have the Hermit. That's very interesting. I'm going to take that in a few different ways. I'm going to say follow the spark. We also had the Ace of Pentagrams that was kind of poking out of the bottom, so I pulled it because it was like, call it out to me. But you also have, the Ace of Pentagrams here. So I'm going to interpret the Hermit in a few different ways. So I would say follow the spark, because this whole reading is about that spark, that initial desire to do something and change something. And the Hermit doesn't know what to do. They're completely shrouded in darkness. The only thing guiding them is this little light in the lantern, which is your spark. So you need to follow it, because that's going to follow you out and sort of emblazon everything and bring you out into this lightness where you can now see this spark in a full flame. So that's how you grow it, is follow that drive, stay focused on it, because that's what the Hermit does. It's also about that gaining that wisdom, that knowledge, that enlightenment with that open eye there, because the Hermit is learning from this stuck position exactly what to do. So it's about staying open-minded as well, and being focused on increasing your knowledge on this area, on injustices, on shifting the power, shifting the hierarchy, shifting the dynamics that are sort of controlling or seemingly controlling your life, while you stay focused so that you can figure out where it's coming from. Then we also have the Ace of Pentagrams, so I again would say keep the self grounded, because pentagrams or coins are about groundedness, natural elements of life, like the material elements, the physical world. So it's about staying grounded down here, keeping yourself grounded while your mind is kind of going on this enlightened journey up here. Okay. What will the result be when you inevitably reach this sort of champion phase, and when you keep your eye on this spark? Oh my gosh, you have Temperance. Oh my days. Okay, so you have Temperance here, so completely balancing the scales. Also being in charge of how balanced those scales are. That is where this will lead you. You being in charge of the hierarchies and evening things out, leveling the playing field. And it's with you for a reason, because you're a just person, like a person who would seek justice and who would make sure that everything is equal or equitable, rather than sort of getting greedy and seizing power for yourself. You would be much more honourable than that. So it's found you for a reason, but this would be the result, is complete balance, everything being neutralised, everything flowing harmoniously. Peace, essentially, is the outcome. With lots of success with the sun in the background, divine connection, divine communication, being really in tune with what your divine or higher purpose was, being in tune with what your fated path in life was, and being able to overcome any challenges and have a complete new perspective on challenges, a new shift, because now you've done it all, you've seen it all, and you've overcome your biggest sort of Goliath, that everything else, in comparison, seems very doable and easy to overcome. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Pole 1. So let's get some questions for you. So you can ask any 3 questions about this reading, and I'll try my best to answer them. If the answers don't resonate with you, just ignore them. But go ahead and ask your first question now, and I will try my best to answer it for you. So you have probably not, and it's a no. Go ahead and ask your second question now. By the way, if I answer these too fast, you can pause the reading bit until you're ready and you have a question, and then press play. Okay, you have wait, let me think, so I'm going to get you another one, but you can take that if you want. And ignore the second answer, because if you want to keep it a mystery for now. So you have yup. This is the second, when I pull like a second one, it's usually just for people who want to know rather than wait. But you don't have to take that. So go ahead and ask your third question now. Not even a little bit. You know what that reminds me of? You know, like in 10 Things I Hate About You or whatever, where she's like, not even a little bit, not even at all, and then she runs off crying, like, after reading her, like, her poem. But anyways, that was your reading pile 1. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If you want to screenshot this and, you know, save these messages for your tarot journal, go ahead and do that now. And if not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye. Okay, hello my pile 2s. Welcome to your reading. So you chose the Ghost Lighter. This totally would have been the one I would have picked too. So yeah, I'll put it here, but you can't really see it, but I'll put it there for now. So these cards are about what this spark is, this thing that's going to ignite this passion, ignite this flame for you in life. But I will pull some more cards to figure out what area of your life this is going to be in, and also to see how you can grow it and what the results will be. And then we'll also do the 3 questions at the end as well. So let's get into it first. Oh, we have the Painter. Okay, lots of creativity, lots of newness. Yeah, productivity, creativity are your keywords. That's your spark. This is like a really rare card. I never get this in my in the deck that it came from. And then your tarot card is the King of Pentagrams. Okay, so even though I didn't want to interpret your cards until I pulled more, I did it for pile 1, so I'm gonna do it for you as well. So definitely this creative spark has something to do with art and your fortune as well. So it can be any type of expression. So it can literally be painting, it could be drawing, it could be dance, it could be acting, it could be writing, like any type of expressive creativity. There's going to be a spark to take a lot of action towards it and put a lot of effort in towards it. And this will reap you a lot of rewards, a lot of benefits, especially in the sort of physical material world. So in terms of like the grounded world. So by that, that's your physical reality that you live in this lifetime. This isn't like so much a like spiritual creative spark as much as it is a material one, and it's going to lead you to all the successes that you're kind of looking for in life. It's going to lead you to being on top, very successful here, very regal. I can even see you doing like custom pieces, especially if you're like a painter, for specifically like high buyers, like people who are interested in very kind of like niche paintings and custom pieces. I could see that for you as well. Or if this is like acting, I could see you getting like a very big role. I can see you working towards it to where you get that sort of big breakthrough that you're kind of looking for. Okay, so what area of your life is this creativity in? Pile 2. Okay, so we had the 5 of Pentagrams in reverse. So it's definitely in your material world. As I was saying, it's not a spiritual journey by any means. It's very much material. It's about your human life on Earth. the sort of matter-of-fact purpose, the way you're supposed to live it out. The sort of 3D execution of your life. So this is kind of like you being shut out or feeling shut out from this creative avenue, which is easy to understand because creative avenues are really like gatekept, especially for people who have an in or have like connections. So I can totally see that with the 5 of Pentagrams in reverse. And so the reason this spark is kind of igniting, where it's kind of coming from, the area of your life, it's happening in your desires. It's happening in what you want to see for yourself in this lifetime. It's because you want something different. You want this. You want to go from here to here. And at the minute you're here, but you want to get here. So the spark is coming in sort of like it's like you get almost like a sudden download of like, oh, you know what, this would be a really good idea. And then because you know you're sitting on a solid idea, you want to immediately get working on it and build it from there. So it's coming in from the area of your life that is lacking. So it's coming from the things that are absent in your life. It's coming from your desires. It's coming from what you want. That's where this spark is resting. It's coming in every rejection you've had from this thing that you've wanted. Every time you felt shut out, every time you felt like it was just within reach and then you kind of got pushed back a few steps and you take one step forward and then 10 steps back, it's coming from that feeling. And that's why you're so determined towards it, because you're ready for that cycle to end. You're ready to move on from that. Okay. So how do you grow this? How can you get what you want out of this situation? We have the Six of Swords here. Okay, so the way that this is going to grow for you, you're going to take this spark from being that initial kind of creative spark and grow it into this like massive flame. This massive fire is a few different ways. So I definitely see you going on a big journey with the Six of Swords there. So you're leaving something behind and moving forward. It could be the place you're in right now. You're literally leaving this state of being behind and moving towards this one. It can also be much more of like a physical change, which I do think it would be, just because this pile has turned out to be focus on the material. So I do think it's more of a physical journey rather than a spiritual one. So definitely change and movement, leaving behind what you had and just throwing your all into whatever this new idea is. And that could be like a change of role. So for example, say if you wanted to be like an artist, like a painter, but currently you're in like corporate, you would look for jobs where you could get that experience as like a professional artist. It might start off where you're working in a gallery and arranging showings and things. You might have to start there, but the point is you're moving more into the sort of field that you want to be in. So it could be like a change of role. It could literally be like moving home or moving location, moving country, but going closer towards what it is that would help align you with this thing you're interested in more. It's being more responsible about what it is you want to see happen for yourself and taking more charge and more initiative and going after that, and recognizing that it's been a long time coming for you, so you deserve to invest in yourself in this kind of way, and definitely moving on and healing from this past version of yourself, being really cathartic and just recovering from all of these kind of losses, I suppose, or these sort of shut out moments, and recognizing you deserve to have this thing just as much as anybody else. You're just as deserving to be in that space, you know, and have that space be inclusive of you and receptive to you. So you're going after it with more, I suppose, like recklessness, but not in a bad way, but in a sense where you're like, I will give it all to make this dream kind of come true. Like, you're more like, act first, think about it later. That's kind of how you're growing this spark into something much bigger. And what will be the result of you going after this? We have the Seven of Pentagrams. Very material for you. All of these have been pentagrams, apart from the swords. Very material event for you. Oh, the result of this, of course, because we have here the King of Pentacles, we know that you are successful in this area. We know that you conquer this thing. But sometimes we have an idea of what it is we want, and then once you actually achieve it, you're like, actually, I might want something else. Or it helps you in a sense because once you've achieved it, you're then ambitious towards the next thing. So it's almost like this little spark, once it turns into this big flame, then leads on to a new little spark and a big flame, and so on and so forth. So when we have the Seven of Pentagrams, it's like once you get to the top and you're looking at your kingdom and everything you've created, you feel satisfied, but you also have this desire and ambition for more. And so this is saying that you could have new open opportunities to you. Maybe a few different pathways now. Once you get to this point, you might be like, actually, I've given, I don't know, acting a go, I want to give singing a go. Or I've given painting a go, I want to give music a go. And it's, once you're there, it allows you so much more freedom to then try all these other things that you're interested in and see where it takes you. And create more from that point. So once you get to that point, the outcome will be the opportunity to work hard and go after everything you want with these 7 of coins. You might look back on all the work you've done and gone, maybe I want to try something different, maybe I want to replicate that, or maybe you don't want to do that ever again, and so you're like, actually this wasn't, you know, as fulfilling as I thought it would be, let me try something different. But either way, it allows you that point to recognize what it is you want and go after it from there. So you get there and then you reevaluate. That's the outcome. Okay, so you now have the opportunity to ask any 3 yes or no questions pertaining to this reading or this creative spark. You can ignore any answers you get that you don't like, because that probably just means it's not meant for you. But go ahead and ask your first question now, and I will try my best to answer it. And if I answer too fast before you've got your question ready, just pause the video until you're ready. Okay. Ooh, we have yes for your first answer. Go ahead and ask question 2 now. We have ask again. You can take that to mean you don't need to know yet. And if you want to take that answer, take that and ignore this second one. But this second answer is for those of you who want an answer to your question now. Weather permitting. So it's dependent on several factors. Is the timing right? Is things aligned? Have you done all you needed to at that point? Okay, and I'll answer question 3 now. It is likely. Let me see what this was. Absolutely not. Okay. So that was your reading pile 2. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you felt drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. And if not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye! Okay, hello pile 3. Welcome to your reading. So you chose this whale lighter, and this is your spark. That's what these cards represent, but we will be pulling some more tarot cards just to see what area of your life this spark is initiating in, how you can grow it, what the outcome will be, and we'll also pull some more cards to answer any 3 yes or no questions that you might have about this reading. So let's get into what this creative spark is. So we have the Waker, Awareness and Reflection, and this was in reverse. We also have, ooh, the 10 of Wands. What this spark kind of is you're kind of at a place where you're working too hard or having too much put on you by the world, by others, and you want the knowledge that you need to be given in order to figure out how to no longer need to live this kind of lifestyle to where you can relax and kind of take a rest, take a beat. Be less alert, be less on it, be less hyper-fixated, I suppose, on like hard work, productivity, the grind. So this spark is the desire it's an idea that's going to come to you to help you achieve the desire to have that sort of rest or vacation from this type of overworked lifestyle. So let's see what area of your life this is in. What area of your life is this spark from? Okay, so we have the 6 of Pentagrams in reverse. So it's definitely your material, physical world. It's about physical labor and wanting to move away from that. Ah, I see. It's about a shift in generosity. That's where it's coming from. I think you feel that you are a giver who just gives, and everyone just takes. There's no reciprocity. There's no, oh, hey, how about I do this thing for you because you always do these things for me, or like, how about I take that shift today and you can have the day off kind of thing. It's never like a balance. It seems unsynced, unequal. So where this is coming from is your desire for reciprocity when it comes to generosity, acts of service, specifically, like physical tasks, physical labor. That's where this spark is coming from. That's where it started, and why it's kind of come up is because you're not receiving the same energy that you're kind of putting out there. You may have given, and people are just taking, and then they forget about you. You know what? I feel like I should bring up the relevance of this lighter now that I can see this, because the reason I bought this lighter is because I had a dream about a killer whale or orca that was abandoned in is it like an aquarium, but like one of the ones where they'll specifically do like tricks and stuff. So it provided all its life to like entertaining people, giving them a good show, making whoever owned them loads of money. And then when it came down to it, they got abandoned there, and they were like bored out of their mind, very intelligent and not getting the mental stimulation they needed, very scared about their future, very lonely, very isolated and stuck and hungry because it had been like abandoned. So I got this lighter because I just felt like a strong connection to the orca because of that. But this is kind of like you, like dedicating your life to years and years and years and decades of acts of service for somebody else or a corporation, you know, making them money, helping them succeed, and then when the going gets tough, like, you're let go, or you're unappreciated, or like you don't get promoted for the thing you thought you were going to get promoted for because you put all the work in. You're not getting back what you're putting in to others. It doesn't necessarily have to be about work, but because this card usually is, I've brought that up. But it can also be about relationships with the Six of Pentagrams as well. You're seeking more reciprocity, but also more mental stimulation as well with the Waker, with awareness and reflection. Like, you want a situation that's going to challenge you. You don't like monotony. You're feeling bored, you're feeling stuck. And that's where this spark is coming from in your life. That's the area it's coming from. Is a place of lacking and a lack of fulfillment, a lack of generosity, a lack of reciprocity. That's where it's coming from. And the spark is to do with knowledge and acts of service. The spark is about receiving what you deserve, but also gaining the knowledge you need to in order to escape this kind of lifestyle. Because in a sense, technically, it's like the orca is like tapping into the subconscious minds of sleepers, which is what I brought up, to convey their message, because that's kind of what happened to me. So it's kind of like that, getting some sort of more divine or spiritual knowledge in order to change your physical world. So how can you grow this thing? How can you grow this spark and turn it into like a big flame? Ooh, we have justice. Yes. If you were drawn to pile 1 at any point, maybe you should go check it out, because this is kind of similar. But it's interesting, we've got this like balanced scale twice, because we've got justice and the Six of Pentagrams. And we've got this scale coming up 2 times for you. One message coming through here is you evening out the scale yourself. So when people are being generous towards you, you match that level of generosity. If they're not being very generous, you match that level of a little bit of generosity. So, you know, a corporation that's going to exploit you, you're not going to invest much time or effort. But a company that values you and takes care of you, you're going to put more effort in. Or same with relationships as well, because we do have that kind of dual area coming in. So there's an element of you seeking out the justice you deserve by changing the way you interact with these different forces in your life. And a secondary thing of growing this spark is to find your stability, the thing that's going to hold you up. We've got the 2 pillars here. Also investing in and going after your dreams with the stars here, and entering a new phase of your life as well. It's more like a mental shift or a mental awareness to change the way you're going at things. See, this person is like, they have nothing, their head is down, they're carrying all these sticks, they're just kind of begrudgingly getting on with things. Whereas over here, they've completely transformed. They've got the snake here around their neck representing that transformation, how they've shed their old skin and turned into someone new. They're wearing a crown, so they've changed their positioning, their societal standing, the hierarchy. They're ready to fight now for what they believe in, rather than carrying all these burdens and all these things that people put on them. They've dropped them and they're ready to fight back with their boundaries. They're ready to balance the scale themselves. And they're more dignified now as well. They're more like, rather than, yep, sure, I'm vulnerable, do what you want, it's now like, no, actually, I'm taking charge of my purpose and where I stand, and my future. So to grow this spark, you have to even the scale yourself, even the playing field, by changing the way that you interact with people and having a different mindset towards what you deserve. Because the difference here is that understanding of like, I deserve better versus, yeah, sure, I'll keep putting up with this because it's what I've been doing, you know? And that will be your stability and your strength as well. So what will be the outcome of this? If you do that, what will be the outcome? Ooh, we have the Wheel of Fortune, so changing your fate and reversing your luck. So if you've been down in your luck, you're increasing your luck. You're remaining stable, as I mentioned, with the pillars by focusing on what it is you want. You're in the middle of this circle, staying still while everything moves around you. And it's interesting because you've got the snake here and then another snake here. So it's like this repeating cycle is being not broken, but used differently. Because, so for the wheel, if you spun it this way, the snake's going backwards. If you spun it this way, the snake's going forwards. You're not getting rid of the snake. You're not changing the cycle or changing the system that you're in. You're changing the way you respond to it. So rather than give in to it, you're pushing back. So you've utilized the snake and used it to your advantage. You've changed what the snake means. You've changed what the system means to you. And this is changing your luck, because the Wheel of Fortune is about changes as well as changes in luck. So a reversal of bad luck, or, you know, if you've had like a lot of bad things happen to you, the scale now needs to be balanced again and tipped in your favour because you've had a lot of difficulties. So that's also what the Wheel of Fortune represents here, as well as protection on this journey. So that will be the outcome. It's a complete shift in hierarchy, stability, you'll be gaining stability, a shift in your luck, and a change of your fate as well. And a more divine connection, as well as harmony between your grounded self and your divine self. A better connection between your awake self and your sleeping self. So now you can ask any 3 yes or no questions about this reading. If there's any answers you don't like, feel free to ignore them, as they're probably meant for someone else. And if I answer these too fast, just pause the reading until you have your question ready and then unpause to get your answer. So go ahead and ask your first question now and I will reveal the answer to you. You have looks like yes. Go ahead and ask your second question now. Not possible. Go ahead and ask your third question now. You're having a laugh. That basically means no, by the way. Okay, so, or whatever you've proposed is preposterous. So that was your reading pile 3. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. I would definitely recommend pile 1 for you, only if you were drawn there. But if not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye!